Welcome to the Python series. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about what is Python, features and advantages of Python, installation of Python and installation of Pycharm Ide. Let's start with the very basic question. What is Python? Python is an interpreted high-level programming language which was created by Guido van Rossum. It was created in the late 1980s and its implementation began in 1989, which is earlier than Java. And then why is it Python? Is there any reason for the name? And the answer is yes, of course. It's because the Guido was a big fan of British movie called Monty Python's Flying Circus. He wanted a unique name for his language and then he decided to name it as Python language. And then why do we need Python? What are the features of Python? Here are some of the features of Python. Python has readable and maintainable code. It supports multiple programming features like object-oriented programming, functional programming, polymorphism, and etc. Python has strong inbuilt libraries like pandas, numpys, matplot, and this is also a main reason for the growth of Python language. And what are the advantages of Python? Python is a high-level programming language, and it is an interpreted language too. Python supports dynamic typing, which means that we are not instructed to declare the type of variable before using it. Python supports multiple programming features. It has simple syntax. It has standard libraries, and it is a portable language. And it is an open source language too. One of the key points for the using of Python is that it can be used for any type of backgrounds, let's say machine learning, artificial intelligence, web designing, game designing, and it is also a programming language used for a backend for YouTube along with other programming languages. Let's see how to install Python. Open your browser and then search for Python download. Under this, click on the very first official link python.org. Place your cursor on download and then select your operating system. Here appears the latest Python version is Python 3.8.3. Click on this and then scroll down. Under file section we have three types of files. One is embedded zip file, executable installer, and then web-based install for 32-bit and 64-bit operating systems. Now if you don't know whether your system is 32-bit or 64-bit, just hold Windows key and then press pause break key. Here my operating system is 64-bit operating system. And then if you download the zip file, make sure that you unzip the file and extract the files. As I have already downloaded it, I am skipping this part. After downloading, open it and then install in as usual common way, and make sure that you add Python 3.8 to the path before installing it. And now let's move to the installation of Pycharm Ide. Now here arises a question, what is an IDE? IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. It's a coding tool which allows us to write, test and debug our code in an easier way. For example, in real-time projects, we just don't do additions or subtractions or multiplications, right? In that situation, we have thousands of lines and which makes it very difficult to go through each and every line and debug. In this situation, IDE comes into force. Now here arises another question, doesn't Python have a pre-installed IDE? And the answer is yes. We can check on this by searching Python. And then here it is, IDLE Python. It looks like this. Now here we are not using Python IDLE and we are using the Pycharm. Let's see how to install Pycharm. Go to the browser and then search for Pycharm download. Click on the very first JetBrains one and then click on your operating system. Here there are two versions. One is professional version and the other is community version. Professional version is for both scientific web Python development with HTML, Java, SQL support, and the community version is for pure Python development. As we are learners, we just need community version. So click on download. It gets downloaded. After the completion of downloading the Pycharm, click on open. Then the Pycharm community edition setup appears like this. Click on next, and then it chooses for the location, and then click on next. To create a desktop shortcut, check on this box, add open folder as project. If you check on this box, then every folder which is open through the Pycharm will open as a new project. I don't need this. If you like this, you can keep that. Create associations. We can associate .py files to this Pycharm. Click on this. Launch directory. To launch directories to this Pycharm, you can check on this box, then click on next, and then install. After running this, you will find the license agreement or privacy policy. Check this and then click on continue. It says that help JetBrains improve your products by sending anonymous data. It also says that we can change this in settings. So now I will click on don't send. Here is how Pycharm looks like. You can open a folder, or you can create a new project, or you can get from the version control. Let's create a new project. We can title the new project. After creating the name, there are two ways for the project interpreter. One of the way is to create a virtual environment. A virtual environment is nothing but it allows you to have different dependencies or different packages for different projects. So that by using virtual environment, we can customize the project as per its requirement by adding additional packages or removing some packages. And the other way of doing it is using an existing interpreter. It uses the basic Python interpreter which was on your system. To add this, click on these three dots, and here we can create a virtual environment, or you can use a Conda environment, or we can use a system interpreter, and then click on OK. Now it sets the path for the default interpreter, and then now click on create. It loads the components for a new project. Here is how this looks like. And then here is the place where we get our Python projects, Python packages, and then Python files. Here is the area where we write our code. No, it's not possible. Just right click on the project, click on new, and then create a new Python file. Let's name it as code. So here is our Python file created. We can write our code here itself. Let's print the basic message hello world in Python. To run this, right click, run code. Here is our output hello world. Or you can run this from clicking on the file, right click, and then run. Or else we can run from here, run. So this way we can install our Pycharm. We will later on discuss about the print statements and how do we write this code and all. If you like this video, do like, share, comment and subscribe.